Here we go now, please, shooting, thank you.
Because Tolkien has invented a language, the Elvish language, as well as Black speech and Dwarvish, we're there to make sure that the actors get to grips with that.
You want to check that line, Liv? You happy with it? You're all right?
I know.
Yeah, thank you. Here we go, thank you.
We have worked very, very hard at making that as authentic as possible, that every time somebody says a name or a place or a language, we're very, very confident that it's exactly how Tolkien would have himself spoken it. And the cut. That was good, that was nice. In the movies we have Elvish, both Sindarin and Quenya is spoken quite extensively with subtitles.
During the Rivendell scenes and the Lothlorien scenes, there's plenty of Elvish that's spoken. And so we had to have a lot of consultation on that to be accurate.
Hi, as I go over my lines in embarrassment.
Obviously we started with Tolkien's instructions as to how these words should be spoken and how the languages work. We have 2 full-time dialogue coaches who have been on the film since the first day. They regularly have time with the actors where they train the actors and how to speak the languages that need to be spoken.
There is a tendency when you get a line of a foreign language that you don't understand, and you only know the sounds, you impose your own intonation pattern or your own tune onto that sentence. And that's why we've always had to say to the actors, well, you're the actor, you in the end have to decide which words are important for you, but this is what they mean.
At first that was so terrifying to me, but for some reason I've been able to pick it up really easily and really comfortably in a way that it just kind of rolls off my tongue.
If you know what it is you're saying and you say it as conversationally, then all of a sudden you're sucked into this other world.
Rolling sound?
One of the things that Tolkien says in the book is that their speaking and their singing voices sound like bells chiming. They're just supposedly really magical and beautiful, and it really does sound that way when you speak it.
Tolkien's connection with language goes right back into his childhood. He was making new languages even as a small child, and obviously from that he made the people to go with them. But the languages came first, and it's the power of communication is such an extraordinary thing. It is the only thing that makes us different from the other inhabitants of our planet. And I think the difference in languages says everything about the difference in cultures. And I think that was probably what fascinated him, the sound of words and how they differed from culture to culture. And all those ancient languages that he studied encoded within them an entire society.
And 1.
One of the important things with the music in the story is that we wanted it to reflect the different cultures of The Lord of the Rings. Reading it off the page, it's incredibly rich with the language of the dwarves and the elves and the humans and the hobbits. But of course, the one thing that you don't get from reading the book is you don't hear the music.
This project was daunting, and quite often I felt like Frodo. I would wake up and say, why me? Why have I been chosen to carry this ring? And many times I'd hear Peter's voice along the way saying, you are the one that must do this. You must create the music to this film. That seemed good. I wanted to bring the text of Tolkien back into the film. There's quite a lot of poetry and songs of Tolkien's design, and I wanted to reinsert the poems and the songs back into the story. So we've used ancient Dwarvish in Moria. It was sung by a Maori Samoan choir. We used Elvish, Sindarin, and Quenya in the score, actually sung in the score. Today we did a boys' choir. So this was a way to get some of the detail of the story back into the film.
You've got a nice Tim sound when he arrives. Yeah. I think it's a Tim sound. Am I starting to Am I starting to learn the names of all these things?
Yes.
Or what? Music is certainly an area that I have no expertise and very little knowledge and understanding of. I don't know any of the terminology. I don't know what half the instruments are called. I'm becoming the embodiment of a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. I know things that I like to hear. I mean, if I hear something, I can sort of somehow try to express to Howard whether I liked it or I didn't like it and offer suggestions. But fortunately, Howard needs very little guidance. That was pretty good, Howard. It seemed to just the soundtrack just stopped right on the point that the horn came in, so there was no breathing space.
Right. So should I stop a beat earlier?
You probably should, I think. Yeah.
Right. He might not be a musician in a traditional sense, but I mean, he has a very, very good understanding of how to use music in a film and how to use it emotionally and dramatically and pacing. I mean, I think he has a fantastic sense of it.
It's very exciting for me when I'm finally here now and I'm hearing it being added to the film at this stage, because it totally enhances it for me. It takes the film that I've shot and it gives the film its heart and soul. The score is very classical. It's a very operatic feel. It's designed really to transport you into another world.
It just seemed right for Middle Earth. I mean, it's a very ancient story. It's 7,000 years ago, and I wanted it to have a feeling of antiquity, and I wanted it to have a historical feel, and I wanted it to have a feeling that it was maybe you discovered the score somewhere in some old locker somewhere at the bottom of a sunken ship or something, you know.
That was good.